Rotaractors around the world. Aloha! Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining our session. 5 Steps to Successful Community Projects in Rotaract. I'm sure that all of you Rotaractors would love to have successful projects all the time. But let's face it, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes we have budget challenges, commitment challenges, or problems that we never expect. In this session, Bastiar Sarah and myself will provide you with the key steps you need to make sure your project is as successful as possible. Steps that will save you time, give you focus, and motivate your team. Here's an overview of our journey. Sarah will start with step 1.
Hi, everyone. Making a difference in people's lives is the heart of Rotaract. We just love giving a hand to others. But in our world today, it feels like we'll never run out of people to help. This makes it important to choose the group of people we can best serve. Step 1, set your target group. When thinking about target groups to serve, the main question is, where do you want to make a difference? Here are a few things you need to consider. First, look for motivation. Does your club really love working with children? Maybe you'll want to volunteer at a daycare or orphanage. Second, look for the values. Does your culture really value the elderly? Maybe you'll want to spend time with seniors at a nursing home. Third, look at the needs around. Maybe you live somewhere where there's a lot of stray dogs, feral cats, or have other animal problems. Or maybe you live in a place that needs tree planting. The sky is the limit for projects. So when making a choice, it would be best to select a target group that 1 is the most in need, 2 is easily accessible, and 3 not only gets buy-in, but has excitement from the majority of your club members. Remember to avoid picking a target group that your club members are not excited to serve. Even if they vote for it, they may not be motivated enough to commit later on. In all cases, make sure your project aligns with one of Rotary's 6 areas of focus: promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, saving mothers and children, supporting education, and growing local economies. Depending on where you live in the world, there may be one cause much more important to you and your local community. For example, some towns here in the United States build tiny libraries throughout the community to support education and literacy. They have a take one or leave one policy, allowing people who are unable to go to a library the chance to read. It's a simple gesture, but one that truly supports education and peace. When I used to live in Los Angeles, I noticed there was a lot of people experiencing homelessness. Because ending homelessness was a passion of my Rotaract club, we volunteered many times at a nearby homeless shelter. Successful projects are ones that are well researched. You need to make sure you know as much as you can about your target group. Here's what you need to find out. First, the location. Where can we find our target group? Do we need any permits or permissions for the location? It's always best to get those done beforehand. Then the needs. What are their needs? Which needs are the most urgent? A single target group may have several needs. Elderly individuals may have medical, food, or equipment needs all at once. Children may have entertainment, educational, and other needs all at once. It is important to see what needs are the most pressing and have the most impact on their lives. Third, look at the relevance. Your Rotaract Club may have a theme, a strategy, or a major goal that it wants to pursue this year, like promoting education, reducing hunger, or reducing the risk of corona infections. Which of the target group's needs are closest to these goals? Finally, think about the resources you may need to prepare to serve this target group. What is the estimated budget? Now that you know what you need to find out, where do you get the information from? The first step is to do your own research. Do some calls to the organization hosting your target group. Ask your team members who may know more information, or just do online research. There's plenty of information to get you started. Second, don't be afraid to reach out to people who have done similar projects. Has your Rotary Club or Interact Club in your town already done a similar task? Does a community member like a mayor or his or her constituents already have a good, successful project framework in place? Do they have connections with this or other similar target groups? They might be able to give you a little bit of information or a lot, but it's all valuable advice. Third, and perhaps the best way to get the information you need, make sure you visit your target group and check them out personally. This would give you the chance to get to know them and learn more about their situation up close. In 2019, when I was living in Los Angeles, I was the district Rotaract representative for District 5280. Every year, the district does an annual humanitarian project. In this particular year, Rotarians and Rotaractors were partnering with District 4455 and 4465 in Lima, Peru. We Rotaractors decided to assist the district's projects. They were already working on projects that touched 5 of the 6 areas of focus. We held many fundraisers to raise money for 350 backpacks and supplies for children in Lima. While fundraising wasn't easy, finding the target group and focus was, because we had the connections through the Rotary District and Rotaract Board. Now I'd like to turn it over to Nader for step 3.
Thank you, Sarah. So now that you've decided on your target group, you've gathered the information you needed to get your project going, it's time to evaluate your resources. In other words, you need to answer the question, how ready are you? Does your club have all what it needs to make sure the project is successful? Remember that your resources are not just money. They include human resources, your club members. They include time, a very important resource. And they include the skills needed for this project. So make sure you find a match between what you've got and what the project needs. First, you need to find out how much money do you need to fundraise. What are your project expenses? And how much money do you need to cover them? This will help you get a good idea of your budget. Second, your members. Who is ready and available to help? Remember, your members are not full-timers in your club. They have other commitments like college studies, school studies, or they may be employed and they have work commitments and family commitments. So you have to check how much time do they have available for that project. 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, more or less. Talk to them about it and understand how much they can invest. And finally, learn about the skills you have in your club. Maybe you need a social media expert, a graphic designer, a public speaker for your project, or maybe a children animator. Do you have the skills you need? If you do, great. If you don't, you should either look for these skills or limit your project to the skills that you already have. Now that you know your project's target, needs, and resources, it's time to write up your project's mission statement. The mission statement would help you and your team better understand what your project is all about in just one statement. It should include the type of project. Is it an elderly project, environmental, humanitarian? The target, whom you'll be supporting. The size, how many people you'll be supporting. And finally, the time needed to apply it. Is it a 1-year project, a 1-month project, or just a week-long project? When writing up the mission statement, make sure you refer to the SMART goals approach, meaning it should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Here's an example of the mission statement format, which you can use for your project. All you need to do is replace the words in bold. meaning the target, whether it was a product or service, the need that you'll be fulfilling, and finally the time you need. Let's see some examples. This elderly project will target seniors by providing them with 6 new beds, 20 pillows and bed sheets to improve their sleep. It will be implemented in 1 month. Let's see another example. This educational project will target 30 orphans by providing them with a new library containing 50 books and stories to support their education. It will be implemented in 2 weeks. As you can see, both mission statements say everything you need to know about the project. Whom are you targeting? How exactly you'll be improving their lives? And how long does it take you to implement it? Here's an example of a project that was actually applied in real life. In 2018, I was the president of the Rotary Club of Metingate here in Lebanon. My team and I applied a project that supported a senior house. We provided them with 6 ventilators, 3 boxes of food supplies, and a brand new oven. The cost was around $700, and the project was applied in less than 2 weeks. Every team member took part, whether it was in fundraising, finding good offers for products, or simply being there and visiting the senior house during the implementation day of the project. The project was very successful because it was very well planned from the very beginning. We made sure that this senior house really needed what we gave them. We assessed our resources, and we made sure that everybody was involved. And this way, you can make an impact and celebrate it with the rest of your club. Now that you have a full idea of what your project looks like, you're not just ready to implement it, you're also ready to ace it. The word ace comes from 3 elements: achieving, celebrating, and finally evaluating. To start achieving your project as a club and as a president, you have to form a team for that project. Start by selecting the project leader. Remember, the name is a project leader, not manager. This is because this individual will have to lead his or her team members in every step of that project. This requires a lot of leadership, not just management. So look for team members who have leadership skills, or you'd like to have them improve their leadership skills. Then form a committee for that project who should support the leader. In my experience, the project committee should not be more than 4 to 5 individuals. This is because big committees with more members will need much more time to follow up, make decisions, and make sure all members are on the same page. So make sure the committee is just exactly what the project needs. Not more, not less. This would make it easier to manage and to follow up and eventually reach decisions efficiently for that project. Don't forget to make a final check on your project right before implementing it. Rotary has a standard for this. It's called the 4-way test. It asks 4 questions. First, does it represent the truth? Meaning, does your project fulfill the true needs of the community? Second, is it fair to all those concerned? Meaning, does it provide equal support regardless of racial, gender, culture, or religious backgrounds? Does it build goodwill and friendships? Meaning, are your team members improving their relationships through this project? Whether is it with each other or with the community? And finally, is it beneficial to all those concerned? Meaning, is your club benefiting besides the community? What about your partners? What about the team members? Is everybody concerned also benefiting? Once you have all these checked, you're ready to apply your project. Once you're done with your project, don't forget to celebrate its success. Go out with your team members for dinner or a round of drinks. Celebrate the success. You earned it. And don't forget to recognize every single member who made this project possible. They would not forget the public recognition and they would really thank you for it. Plus, they would be motivated and excited to do another project with you. Also, discuss possible improvements in your project for the future. This is the evaluation part. This is a summary of the 5 steps journey. Set your target, do your research, evaluate your resources, write up your project's mission statement, and finally, ace your project. Alright, so now that you know the 5 steps to success in community projects, are you ready to ace your next project? Go ahead and start planning. We would love to know about your progress, comments, or questions. You can reach me or Sarah by email or Twitter. Don't forget to check Rotary's website for resources on successful project implementations. Sign into my Rotary and access them today. Thank you all for the time you spent watching.
Thanks everyone, and good luck working on your projects.